So I want you to imagine a city where, a local might spend 4 hours just lounging in a bamboo chair, sipping some delicate green tea.
Sounds incredibly relaxing, honestly.
Right. But then that exact same person will spend their evening eating a boiling soup that is so intensely spicy, it actually literally paralyzes their tongue.
Yeah, that is a serious shock to the system.
And it is an absolute sensory whiplash. So today we are doing a deep dive into a really fascinating travel and cultural dialogue focused on Chengdu.
Yes, a massive city in southwest China.
Exactly. And we're trying to figure out how a place survives and honestly thrives on such extreme contrasts.
And because it really defies how we usually think about major cities, right? I mean, most urban centers have one main vibe.
Sure, like a baseline pulse.
Exactly. They are either, hyperkinetic, sensory overload metropolises where everyone's just rushing around, or they are these sleepy, slow-paced retreats.
Like a beach town or something.
Right, but to have both of those extremes operating at maximum capacity in the exact same city on the same day, it's a cultural anomaly.
It really is. And reading through our sources for today, this travel dialogue, I was really struck by how it doesn't just give you like a dry historical timeline.
No, not at all.
It provides this very tactile, sensory roadmap to what people call the Chengdu lifestyle. So our mission today is to decode that lifestyle.
Which is built on some very specific pillars.
Right, three main ones: the giant pandas, the intensely spicy food, and the tea house culture. And by the end of this deep dive, we want you to have the practical tools, kind of like cultural cheat codes, to actually navigate this city.
Which is perfect, and that naturally brings us to where the city begins its day.
The morning mission.
Yes. To really understand Chengdu, you have to look at its most famous residents. The sources put a huge emphasis on the morning, specifically at the giant panda breeding center.
Which is just massive, right?
Oh, absolutely. Chengdu is the global epicenter for these animals. It's not just, a few zoo exhibits. It's this huge specialized operation completely dedicated to protecting and studying giant pandas.
And the defining feature of a panda's life, which honestly takes up a huge chunk of the source dialogue, is their diet.
Oh, the bamboo?
Yes, the bamboo. They eat bamboo, but it's not just like a casual afternoon snack. The sheer volume they consume is staggering.
It really is.
They are eating bamboo for about 12 hours every single day.
I mean, just think about that. Half of their entire lifespan is dedicated to consuming just this one specific plant.
12 hours of eating. I was trying to map that onto human behavior to, wrap my head around it.
Good luck with that.
Right. The closest analogy I can conjure up is this never-ending, grueling Sunday brunch.
Oh, wow.
Imagine sitting down at a table at sunrise, and you literally do not stop chewing until sunset.
Just chewing for 12 hours straight?
It sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
So why on earth does an animal of that size need to spend half of its waking life just eating a plant?
Well, it actually comes down to a fascinating biological mismatch.
Okay, what do you mean?
To understand the whole 12-hour schedule, you have to look at their digestion. Biologically speaking, giant pandas actually have the digestive tract of a carnivore.
Wait, really? Like a meat eater?
Exactly. They are built to process meat. But somewhere along their evolutionary timeline, their diet shifted almost entirely to tough, fibrous bamboo.
Oh, I see.
And because their gut isn't actually engineered to break down all that dense plant fiber efficiently, they extract very little nutritional value from each bite.
So they were essentially running a super inefficient fuel system.
Yes, exactly.
They just had to keep throwing wood into the furnace over and over just to keep the fire going.
That is a perfect way to visualize it. It's a logistical necessity just to maintain their body weight. And, this heavy, constant eating naturally dictates their energy levels.
Which leads to their reputation for being, incredibly lazy.
Right, lethargic animals.
And here's where I really want to push back on the sources a bit, or at least challenge the premise.
Okay, go for it.
If you are traveling all the way to southwest China,
right?
And these pandas spend 12 hours a day just sitting in the grass eating, and the rest of the time sleeping off a massive bamboo food coma.
Yeah.
How active is this experience actually going to be? I mean, are you basically just buying a ticket to watch a bear take a nap.
Well, that is the exact trap that a lot of tourists fall into, and it's exactly why the timing aspect of this travel dialogue is so critical.
Timing is everything.
It really is.
Yeah.
The lethargy is real, sure, but it's not constant. Despite that heavy, slow-moving baseline, pandas are surprisingly capable of climbing trees.
Really? They climb trees?
They do. They have these bursts of real athleticism, but those bursts are heavily concentrated in the morning.
Oh, so there is a window of opportunity here.
A very specific window. If you show up to the breeding center in the late afternoon, you are absolutely going to watch them sleep.
Right. Bamboo coma.
Exactly. But in the morning, before the sheer weight of all that daily digestion sets in, you actually get to see them climbing, socializing, and dynamically interacting.
That sounds amazing.
It is. Watching a giant panda-scale tree is a surreal experience, mostly because it contradicts everything you assume about how they move.
So you start your day watching these gentle giants operating at their peak before they settle into that long, slow routine.
Right.
It really sets a peaceful, almost lethargic baseline for the city. But biologically, when you live in a place with such a slow, heavy pulse, human beings inevitably engineer ways to shock their systems awake.
They absolutely do.
Which explains exactly what happens when the sun goes down.
The evening extreme.
Yes. The transition from the slow-moving morning to dinner time in Chengdu is total culinary whiplash.
It really is a 180-degree turn.
The travel dialogue introduces us to Chengdu Hot Pot. Now, this is a communal dining experience where food is cooked right at your table in a boiling vat of soup.
And the sources make it very clear this is widely considered the spiciest food in all of China.
Which is saying something. Given the massive culinary diversity across China, claiming the top spot for spice is no small feat.
No, it's a major claim to fame.
But what makes this really interesting isn't just like the heat level, it's the specific mechanism of the flavor profile, which is called mala.
Right, mala. And the linguistics of that word tell you exactly what is about to happen to your nervous system.
Break that down for us.
So, la translates to spicy. That's the traditional heat we usually associate with chili peppers.
Okay, standard spicy.
But ma translates to numbing.
And the numbing aspect is what really caught my attention. I was trying to imagine what a numbing pepper actually feels like when you eat it.
It's hard to conceptualize if you haven't had it.
Right. The best comparison I could think of is that awful sensation when you've been sitting cross-legged on the floor for too long and your foot completely falls asleep.
Oh, the pins and needles.
Yes. You get that intense, vibrating, prickly sensation as the blood comes back. But imagine engineering that exact vibrating sensation to happen directly on your tongue on purpose while you're eating boiling hot soup.
It's an incredibly visceral description, but neurologically it's very accurate.
Really?
Yeah.
So it actually is vibrating.
Yes. The ingredient responsible for the ma, the numbing, is the Sichuan peppercorn. It doesn't just burn. It physically interacts with the nerve receptors on your lips and tongue.
Oh, wow.
It triggers the exact same tactile sensors in your nervous system that respond to light, touch, and vibration. In fact, some food scientists have measured it, and they found it mimics the sensation of a 50 hertz vibration on your face.
A 50 hertz vibration. You are basically eating a mild electrical current.
Essentially, yes.
I have to ask.
Why?
Why? I mean, instinctually, if I put something in my mouth and my face begins to vibrate and go numb, my brain is going to send a massive red alert signal.
Then you've just consumed poison.
Right. Exactly. Telling me to stop immediately. So, is paralyzing your own tongue actually an enjoyable dining experience? Or is this just like a painful tourist dare, like eating a ghost pepper just to say you survived it?
Well, it's a completely logical reaction to fear that sensation at first. But the travel dialogue frames this not as a painful ordeal, but as a good strange.
A good strange. I like that.
Yeah, it creates this addictive feedback loop.
Right.
When you consume capsaicin, which is the chemical that makes things hot, and you combine it with the vibrating chemical of the Sichuan peppercorn, your body releases endorphins.
Oh, to cope with the pain.
Exactly, to cope with the safe pain.
So it's literally a physiological high.
It is. The numbing effect actually alters how you perceive the heat and the other flavors in the boiling soup.
That is wild.
Once you get past that initial alarm of your tongue vibrating, the interplay between the fire and the numbness becomes a wildly compelling flavor dynamic. You find yourself reaching for another bite even though your mouth is literally tingling.
It's like a thrill ride for your palate. You survive the drop and you immediately want to get back in line.
That's a great way to put it.
So we have this picture of a city with a morning anchored by slow-moving 12-hour eating pandas And then evenings dominated by vibrating, endorphin-rushing, boiling hot pots.
Two total extremes.
Right. And to avoid complete sensory exhaustion, there has to be some kind of buffer in between.
And there is. It's the glue that holds the entire Chengdu lifestyle together.
The afternoon tea house culture.
Yes. This is exactly how the city metabolizes those two extremes.
The imagery in the dialogue is just striking. You are in a lush park. You are reclined in a traditional bamboo chair. You have a fragile cup of hot tea in your hands, and you were just talking with friends.
It is presented as the ultimate manifestation of the slow life.
A very deliberate rejection of hustle culture.
Absolutely.
But here's where I really struggle with this concept and where I have to, push back on the sources a bit again.
Okay, let's hear it.
I live in the real world. Chengdu is a massive modern economic hub. It has millions of people, skyscrapers, a booming tech industry.
Yeah, it's huge.
And in almost any major city on earth, people are chronically stressed. They're all looking at their phones, rushing for the subway, grabbing coffee in paper cups to go.
Standard urban grind.
Exactly. So is this image of locals lounging in parks on bamboo chairs on a random Tuesday actually a reality? Or is this just some romanticized marketing brochure they sell to tourists?
It's a very fair skepticism, especially if you're used to Western urban centers. But the authenticity of this actually lies in the urban infrastructure itself.
What do you mean by infrastructure?
Well, human behavior is dictated by the physical environment, right? Think about a modern coffee shop.
Okay, high-top tables, bright lights.
Right, and hard stools. It's architecturally designed for turnover. It physically pushes you out the door. But the tea houses in Chengdu's parks utilize reclined bamboo chairs.
Oh, you literally cannot rush while sitting in one.
Exactly. A reclined bamboo chair is not a subway turnstile. It forces your posture into a state of rest.
That makes so much sense.
Plus, trying to sprint through a park while holding a traditional lid-covered tea bowl without spilling boiling water on yourself, it's basically impossible.
You'd be covered in burns.
Right. The physical environment demands a slower pace. The dialogue emphasizes that this isn't just some weekend treat or a show for tourists. It is a deeply ingrained daily habit for the residents.
So the infrastructure of the city literally mandates relaxation.
Yeah, it does. And that leads directly to the social aspect. Because everyone is operating on this slower frequency in the afternoons, there is a remarkable level of societal trust and friendliness.
Yeah, the sources mention that.
The dialogue notes that locals are known to spontaneously invite visitors to just pull up a chair and join them for tea.
That level of communal openness is just staggering. I mean, in a city like New York or London, if a stranger invited you to just sit and exist with them for an hour, it would trigger immediate suspicion.
Oh, absolutely. Red flags everywhere.
But here, it's just the baseline culture.
They view the slow life as something to be shared, not protected.
Okay, so let's say you're listening to this and you are completely sold.
You're booking your tickets.
Right. You want the peaceful morning pandas, you want the afternoon tea in the bamboo chairs, and you want to challenge your nervous system with the mala hot pot at dinner.
The perfect itinerary.
But a deep dive into this material is only useful if we actually show you how to pull it off. You need the tools to navigate this environment.
Theory has to meet application.
Exactly. And the travel dialogue provides a very specific set of vocabulary and phrasing, which is crucial.
Because navigating a city with such intense extremes requires some precision.
Think of this final section as your cultural cheat codes. If you get dropped into the center of Chengdu, you don't need to be fluent in the entire language, but you do need a handful of key concepts to unlock the city.
And to avoid the tourist traps.
Right. So the dialogue highlights 5 core vocabulary words we've touched on today.
Let's lay them out.
We have the breeding center, the bamboo, the hot pot, the numbing sensation, and the lifestyle.
Understanding those 5 concepts really gives you the architectural blueprint of the city.
But the dialogue pairs them with practical navigation phrases. Let's weave these into a realistic scenario.
Okay, let's do it.
You land in the city, and your first priority is the morning mission. The phrase you need is essentially, where is the panda breeding center?
Right. Because you want to make sure you are heading to the massive conservation hub, not just a random municipal zoo.
Exactly. Next, you need to know how to ask, how much is a ticket?
Budgeting and logistics are the foundation of any trip.
Always. Okay, so once you've survived the bamboo coma and you spend your afternoon in the park, the sun goes down and you have to tackle dinner.
A hot pot.
The cheat code here is knowing how to ask a local. Can you recommend a good pot restaurant.
That is so crucial, because if you just search online, you will very likely end up at a watered-down, overpriced spot designed purely for tourists.
Tapping into local knowledge is the only way to find the truly authentic, communal experiences.
The locals know which spots have the best atmospheric buzz and the freshest ingredients.
But this leads to what is arguably the single most important cheat code in the entire dialogue.
Oh, without a doubt.
If you are sitting at that local hot pot table, staring at a boiling vat of red oil and Sichuan peppercorns, you absolutely must know how to ask, is Chengdu hot pot too spicy for me?
We really cannot overstate the importance of that specific question.
It's a survival skill.
It is. We just discussed the 50 hertz vibration and the endorphin rush. That is a potent physical reaction. If you aren't prepared for it, it can completely ruin your evening.
You do not want to be the overconfident traveler who scorches their taste buds on night one and then spends the rest of the week eating plain white rice.
Definitely not. Asking a local, is this too spicy for me, is an incredible tool for two reasons.
What's first?
First, it shows a deep respect for their culinary tradition. You are acknowledging the power of the mala.
You aren't underestimating it.
Right. And second, it opens a dialogue. The staff can guide you. They can actually adjust the ratio of the ma and the la, so you experience that famous good strange without crossing the line into genuine physical distress.
It's self-awareness translated into action.
Beautifully said.
So when you put all these pieces together, this dialogue is basically mapped out a flawlessly structured day.
It really has.
You wake up early to catch the giant pandas at their most athletic, watching them scale trees before they settle into the biological necessity of digesting bamboo for 12 hours.
Then you transition into the afternoon, leaning back in a bamboo chair in a public park, allowing the physical infrastructure of the city to literally force you into a state of profound rest.
Just sharing tea with strangers. And then you shock the system at night. You gather around a communal table, dropping food into a boiling cauldron, and let the Sichuan peppercorns send a vibrating electrical current across your palate.
It is a masterpiece of contrasts.
It is. But, stepping back and looking at the mechanics of how this city operates, it leaves us with an interesting, almost psychological paradox to consider.
Oh, I like a good paradox. What is it?
Well, we've established that the Chengdu lifestyle is perfectly balanced between this intense sensory extreme of the hot pot and the profound, almost legendary relaxation of the tea parks and the pandas.
Right, the two poles.
It makes you wonder, is that contrast actually a requirement?
How do you mean?
Like, does a human culture literally need to regularly subject itself to extreme, intense physical stimulation like paralyzing your own tongue with spice in order to fully appreciate and cultivate such a deeply relaxing, slow-paced lifestyle in their downtime?
Wow, it's a fascinating way to look at it.
Right, yeah.
The idea that the harder you shock the system at night, the slower you are forced to take the morning. You literally have to engineer the fire to fully appreciate the calm.
Exactly. That is a fantastic thought for you to chew on as we wrap up. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Chengdu, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.